Oh yeah, I had a lady called Kiki that used to work for me many, many years ago. And it was when I was back in recruitment and I was managing a recruitment office, and she was my first hire, and she was a temps consultant. She was a way better consultant than I could ever be, than I ever had been, than I was at the time that I ever could be. She was amazing. She was an absolute pleasure to listen to. She was a pleasure to go on client meetings with. And she just took that desk by storm. It was a new office in a new area, and she just went for it, and she was just amazing. And catching her doing something right, it was like, something, did she ever do anything wrong? Yeah. She did, obviously, not very much, but she was just incredible. And it's that bit of, I always made sure that every couple of days I would go in and do, really kind of do things like that. Was brilliant. That was really good. And it wasn't even like a conscious thing. It was just she was so good. But again, it's that positive reinforcement, that constant. And she'll say now sometimes that the reason that she managed to go off so strongly was that she knew how much I believed in her. And she knew I trusted her to go and do that. And she knew I thought that she was better at it than me. So she did have a little thing in her head going, oh yeah, no, in a pleasant way, in a really lovely way. And it was just the best example of that, finding the thing that someone's good at. I mean, she's gone so far beyond that since then, it was 20 years ago, but she's finding that thing that somebody's good at, helping them build their confidence in that, and giving them the accountability and the responsibility to go and do it their way, because their way is actually better than yours, and being big enough to admit that. And it just, I think that's where I get so frustrated sometimes, when people don't let people go. And I know if you when you have your reservations about people, it's hard to let go. I mean, I had no reservations with her at all. But when you have those reservations, it's really important that you sit down. You've either hired the wrong person in the first place, but you need to deal with that if that's the case. But you need to sit down with them, and you need to work out between you what it is that's holding you back from allowing them to go off and do it, and work through that, and get them to, agree a process whereby you give them more and more and more and more freedom, or you just go, do you know what, off you go and do it your own way. And these are things I'm worried about, so tell me how you're going to deal with these things, and then we go.
Yeah. And I had I think that probably, well, I was lucky. I had a couple of really good managers, but one that really stands out for me, and something I learned from him, was always give everybody the best chance of success when they start out. So let them have, give them leeway, rope to hang themselves, the kind of permission to, what's that saying? Not to have to ask for permission, but to ask for forgiveness, and get on with it. But if they consistently do not meet the mark, then there's a problem, especially if they're not coming back asking for help. And I thought it was a really good way to just let people get on, because sometimes when somebody comes into something new, it really does take time to let go of the old place you've come from, and their ways of working, and their culture, and their indoctrination, and to let go of, oh, well, Susan didn't do it like this here, and Susan used to do this, and Susan used to do that. So you're like, and trying to fit into the culture that you've now gone into. It can just be a bit topsy-turvy. And also, I think, you're so determined to make it work. And especially if it's a promotion, you're like, this is it now. I'm really going to have to give this my all, in a way that you can miss a lot of what the ecosystem is telling you. So by having rope and having leeway, you can get on and do stuff and not feel like somebody's watching you over your shoulder. But also, you need to know when to ask for help, and when to say, can I check? And that's what I've seen. So I worked with this manager long enough to see the people who came in and failed, like who just didn't rise to it at all, and the people who came in and shone. And I'd say it's an 80-20. I'd say 80% of people did really, really well.
Yeah.
And 20% didn't. And we were a hybrid type relationship as well. We weren't all in the one place. We were a global organization. So, but you could see, and it was a mixture as well. Just because you were in the office, it didn't mean you were any better or had a better chance than if you were in Bangladesh.